was it?
Episode of Devil's Den Radio, episode 239, I think. Well, I have Hippies here with me. I had a Hippie Soul, but then she ate a Pop-Tart, and then she ran away. And then...
she ate a bad Pop-Tart.
She ate a bad Pop-Tart, you know, who do you, like, you know, so fuck a Pop-Tarts right now, or not, you know, even though there's a bag of Pop-Tarts, or a package, however you want to say it. Next to me, but also next to me, I have Hippie Mike.
What's up? Don't offer me that Pop-Tart.
Yeah, no beaver butt juice for you.
No. I used to love Pop-Tarts, too.
That
sucks.
Yeah, but I was a toaster strudel guy, even though, like, you know, by the time you got to the toaster strudel, you kind of almost, like, want to make the whole box, like, right away.
Yes.
Because, like, the freezer burns real.
Toaster strudels are... Yeah, that's true. Yeah, strudels are better than Pop-Tarts, A.
Why don't you? DevilsDenRadio.com. DevilsDenRadio.com.
There it is.
Patreon.com/DevilsDenRadio. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, VeganJosh. You two are awesome. But, yes, toaster strudels.
Oh, yeah. Way better. And then you can put the little, like, fun, what do you call it? Like,
the drizzle packet?
Drizzle, yeah.
The icing.
Icing. Why couldn't I was blanking on that word.
Yeah,
God.
I was going to say, you were just, like, you were doing the arm motion, too.
I know.
And
that
was like,
happens from time to time. Should I worry about that?
What? That you...
Where, like, a very easy, simple word just, like, disappears from my vocabulary.
There have been times where my geriatric age start to show.
Yeah. I don't know. Is that a sign of, like, early onset something?
Dementia?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I thought that, like, if you smoked weed and shit, though, it's supposed to help, like, you know, offset that.
That's why I smoke so much weed. Because, you know, for health.
Health? You know, I drink this, here, vitamin water. Not because I like it, but because it's health.
Health. I got my electrolyte premium hydration beverage, fruit punch flavored, with the scientific formula. Ooh. It's got ions.
I'm hype beasting it with some prime hydration blueberry. Blue raspberry. Blue raspberry. It's not too bad. I don't think it's that great, though. It's not as good as, you know, the youngster thinks it is.
Is it colored blue?
No.
Okay. But that's good, because I don't like
things
that are colored blue. I'm always afraid my mouth is going to turn blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like red I can kind of deal with, I guess.
So, speaking of the blues, the Mike Frank and Friends performance was pretty good.
Thank you.
You know, there were some things that we talked about, but you know what? We're not going to blast Art's Quest for being late to the show and being unprofessional.
No, I didn't say anything about unprofessional. We're not saying that. We're not saying that at all. Although we could have used a little bit more time to get a better sound.
There we go.
Yeah.
See the
well,
truth.
It's a rush, you know. It's a quick turnover, things like that.
Yeah, I get it. But also, you know, punctuality.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a quick turnaround.
That's right, though. I really think that as long as I keep my mouth shut and stop saying
you'll be fine.
I think next year, I think we kind of the door has been left ajar for next year.
Well, yeah, man. You know, you guys want this. It seemed like the the kids were really involved with that shit too.
You know what's fun? Yeah, I really enjoy when the kids are getting into it, because I don't know what it is about the music that makes kids like it, but they were liking it.
Yeah. I was like, at least they're liking it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I know, because I had a patron in the crowd, like just sharing like this like weird vibe with me, where it's like, it's like, what are you looking at like that? Like, and it's like, now I'm gonna look at you like that because you're looking at me like that.
Resting bitch face was scaring people.
Yeah. I guess the hippie people don't have resting bitch face, but they have judgmental,
Do they?
eyes. Oh yeah, please. The judgmental eyes were pretty evident.
Well, I mean, what kind of shirt were you wearing?
I was wearing my Slayer T-shirt.
I was gonna say,
slay them all, kill all hippies,
I mean, you
die hippie scum on the back, and then, a big old Swazi patch on the left.
Oh, well, I mean, I was gonna say, maybe just by the shirt you were wearing, maybe you looked a little slightly out of place, but not nearly as out of place as what you went on to describe. It could have been way worse.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been a little more awkward.
I wore a tie-dye shirt or whatever.
Oh, you did? That's right.
Asshole. I even flipped you off.
Oh, so none of what I just said...
Because you looked all sweaty and shit.
Oh, my God. It was so fucking hot.
So then when I saw that you looked hot and miserable, I was like, well, I'm not going to say hi to him. I'm just going to flip him off.
Yeah, and in a rush. You know what I mean?
So then, like,
late.
It's like, hey, Micah. Why did he flip me to fuck off? And because it's like, I know you're mad right now. So
it doesn't matter. I was just in go mode,
Yeah, I know. It was hot, But you look like you're like not in a comfortable mode.
Yeah, this beard is not fun on those really hot days.
Oh, hell no!
Because the water doesn't necessarily drip off my face; it just collects in the beard, and then comes out in like many different, like I just spray shit all over.
So you like Spider-Man, like all over again. Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty nasty.
Yeah,
and then my shirt gets all soaking wet because of it. Oh. So I would so I brought an extra shirt. The shirt I set up in, like I changed right before I walked on stage.
Ugh. Aren't you? Ugh. Yeah, I can't do that.
No. But I will give the stage crew credit in one way. I was playing a song. I have a cowbell and a foot pedal, and I have a rug, but it was still sliding on the rug, and I was losing it. Like the guy picked up, he saw it. I'm not used to anybody paying attention or even being willing to help. So he, like, out of nowhere, I feel like the pedal move. He like kind of almost nudged my foot with it, but I was like appreciative of it. I was like, hey, thanks, man. And then he put one of those sandbags behind it so it wouldn't move anymore. I was like, yo, I can get used to this. Thanks, man.
Good stage hands.
Yeah, I had stage hands.
But yeah. Speaking of stage hands, one of our friends reached out to me, and we were talking about some performances and stuff. And I was like, well, doing the counseling that I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, that's pretty much what it comes down to. It's like when I talk to some of my musician friends and shit,
mm-hmm.
It becomes just like musician counseling. And it's like, oh, well, what would you do?
Yeah,
that's cool. It's like, I would do this and that, and maybe that, maybe this, that, trying this, and then eventually it's like, oh, I think I will do what I wanted to do, because hearing that you were doing it that way means I'm all right.
Yeah, I also kind of like the concept that there's no right way necessarily. You kind of work off of what you have in the moment.
when you're an artist, a solo artist, right? It's I think it's a little bit more difficult to kind of be able to differentiate different roles in that, because then it's like, oh man, I'm chopping off a piece of meat that I could eat. You know, every time I don't do something the right way. If I don't book the right way, then the next time I need to get a booking agent.
Well, what's the right way? Is that subjective?
It's always subjective, but then there are... The right way, in most regards, is following the trends adjacently. Like, you don't want to be caught up in the cycle, but you want to hover around it in certain regards.
Yeah, okay. So just essentially, is that another way of saying being in a certain scene?
Correct.
Being in the metal scene, being in a jam band.
Any scene.
Okay.
You know,
I got it.
And I think that's, you know, transferable to any, you know, scene, really.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah.
But, you know, as long as you stay adjacent, because there's always the things that are big, right?
Yeah.
For your example, right? Goose caught fucking steam hot, right? And just like went whoosh, you know, and then you're like, oh damn, now you go to see Goose again, and you're gonna be like, yo babe, I don't know, these Goose tickets.
Yeah.
You know, these
But
Goose...
I'll tell you, I will go to the Asbury Park show and stand outside that gate anytime. I'll still see them.
I got you, but what I'm saying...
I know, yeah. Your point is the ticket prices are going to go fucking through the roof.
Yeah, depending on, you know, the popularities. Which is... It's
on one hand, I like to see the band, like, succeeding. I like to watch it happen. It's really cool to see. And on another hand, I'm jealous, you know, how do they do it, man?
Well...
But then you see them and you're like, oh, I get it. They're fucking awesome, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of those guys, I'm sure, they're, you know, if they're not hired guns, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Then they have to be, you know, some type of, like, friend of sorts.
Yeah. I know a couple of the guys, more than one of them in Goose went to Berkeley. So... including definitely the guitar player. I'm pretty sure the drummer, and I think the bassist too. But the bassist is like some numbers genius. So, playing around with like scale degrees and stuff, he's just good at.
That's dope. Yeah. Some of those music guys, like I said before many times on this show, it's like, you know, I definitely appreciate that, you know, someone has taken the science of it, you know, that serious.
Well, it's a kind of if you're going to be successful, it's a perfect blend of art and science.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when you start to get hyper-focused like that, the art of it is gone. Because you're not creating... you know, freely anymore. You're writing with a box, and you're writing to all these predestined codes in a sense. Where
kind of,
you know, because where you start, because with like exploration with shit, it's like, hey, you know what? Sometimes, for example, with the one song that I did, right? I know that I fucked up with the one note, but then like I was like, yo, can we shift that key? Because I kind of like that. Let's fuck with this. Let's fuck with this thing. Let's shift it around a little bit. Let's take something that I fucked up, you know, and possibly, you know, let's arrange that. So, yes, I can see where the theory helps, but it also, like, but in the beginning, it's like, oh, shit, like, I just want to come out with this idea because I have this idea, you know, and when you get with somebody that, and I'm sure that every group has one, the super musical nerd, it's like, well, if you're going to do that, you got to do this and this is this, and because then that, it's like, yo. It's like, yo.
That's me.
It's like, I get it. And it's like, it's cool, but also, why don't we just do that then? You know, because, like, the one thing that, like, I also hate about and I will use the term hate, is once you get to that level of knowledge, you start talking to people like they've never heard music before in their fucking lives.
Well, the number one thing to know about music theory is that it doesn't tell you what to play.
It just it just gives you the ability to speak in music.
Yeah. So, to be able to articulate this idea that you come up with, to be able to explain it, you need music theory. But back to what we were saying before about almost kind of limiting what you can do. You have to remember that, like, there are only 12 notes in music, and they are basically infinitely combinable. You know, all the different steps, you can combine them in an infinite number of ways, and that essentially is music throughout history. It's mind-boggling when you think that it's sourced by 12 notes, played in many octaves, you know, but so you're always going to be confined by something, by some kind of guideline. So why not, like, adapt the theory of just have fun exploring what's there instead of, like, sticking to even more guidelines or, like, handcuffing yourself even more. You already, if kind of trailing a little bit, but if you know enough theory, or if you know enough about music to know, like, where to go in that scale, what your options are, I guess I should say, then you know that your options are infinite. And it just opens up it just opens up your mind and your creativity. It actually takes down all the restraints.
You know what I like to use my musical nerd for?
Mm-hmm.
Does my key progression work? Does it work for the song? Yes or no?
You will know, because the notes will sound out of key. They're going to sound bad. That's how you know.
No shit, but, like,
you know
what I mean? So then it's like, after a while, you know, like I said, the people that I've noticed that get that far into it,
mm-hmm.
they forget how to talk to the people that actually play music.
Well, yeah.
Because then if not, then you're just going to be like, okay, well then everybody in your band is a Berklee graduate, and they all speak music, and they just, you know.
When you say speak music, all you mean is, like, they know the terminology.
No, what I mean by speaking music is the pompous tone. Like, oh, so what that is. There's always a so they're, like, mansplaining.
So
what that is
they're mansplaining.
No, it's musician explain.
Musician explaining.
It's I'm explaining music to you for the first time ever because you're an imbecile.
Well, I kind of do that because I think it's awesome what music can do, and I'm trying to, like, explain it in a way where people can see it the way I see it and find it just as awesome. I hope I'm not coming across as I'm, you know, trying to come off as pompous.
But I think but I know that you've come across a few people that fall into that category where you're like, oh, like, you know, you could have just said what you wanted to say.
In music school, it's full of them. Everybody's trying to out music nerd each other. You know, they're trying to out geek each other. And it's great. It's so funny.
Yeah, but there's just level pompousness, and coming from a lead singer, like, you know, person like that's like, you know, usually like supposed to be the most pompous asshole. I'm like, nah.
See, but
I can only take so much.
I mesh much better with the ones that like know it, but they're quiet about it.
Yes,
and it just like you just watch them play, and the proof's in the pudding. They don't need to say anything. You know, and then to get off stage...
The extremely introverted people.
Yeah, dude, to get off stage, and it's like, I didn't even know. If I just saw you from across the room, I would never have guessed.
One of my friends who plays bass is like that.
Mm-hmm.
Very quiet about certain things, but then, like, you know, if you start talking about the performance in general, they'll fucking critique it like they were fucking... You know, like every single like half step that was off, and it's like
well,
that.
You know, you're a performer.
Yeah,
like, you don't perform it like an audience member. A performer and an audience member are two different experiences.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't sound like the song doesn't sound the same to the singer as it does to the audience member, and vice versa. It's like looking at a painting. I've used this analogy a lot. Like if you go to a museum, you see the paintings, these tapestries, you see the finished product. I'm not the artist. I don't know every single stroke that went into it. As the artist, you know from beginning to end of that song, every move that needs to be made. It's like it's a choreographed almost. Your vocal cords. It's a choreography. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Like muscle memory in a sense.
Yeah.
But to the audience member, they're just receiving a cumulative result. You know, they say that sum of all its parts. You know, they're just seeing the finished product. So, okay. You know, when you're... Yeah, you're talking to a guy who just came off stage. They are still going to be thinking about every little tiny little thing that happened because they were in control of all of that whole time.
This guy fucked up this.
Yeah. But then you also have to say you're human, man. You know, you're human.
It's like no one cared.
Yeah.
No one booed you.
Unless you're using fucking triggers and you still can't fucking do it.
Yeah. Well,
that's why I don't like
all right.
Plugins and all that fucking...
But with, like, the way certain triggers work, triggering a bass drum is beneficial.
How?
Alright, so...
And don't give me the EQ argument, because it doesn't matter.
Yes, actually. Oh, man. Yes, consistency in the velocity in hit, yeah, too. So, for those songs that you're, you know, changing up, you know, time signatures and going all crazy and shit.
You know why?
Making those double bass patterns consistent, like, you know, the same hit.
You
like,
know why?
I think it's a lot of bands have gotten used to it, and I think that because of how easy it is to exist with it, you're not going to see too many people mic'd up fully, and you should really appreciate the bands that do. Stupid! Go on.
It's all because of the down tuning. It sounds so muddy. There has to be some kind of definition to if you're going to be playing with that many time signatures that much and going that crazy with it. There's no way guitars down tuned are going to be able to be clear enough to make sure that those time signatures are even discernible.
Yeah.
So yes, you have to compensate probably by triggering the kick drum. And then having it programmed where it's flawless.
Well, no, you just what a trigger is just literally it's just a sensor, and as long as like I could trigger this bottle and have it be the bass drum, and as long as I have it triggered, I'm like, okay, then
yeah.
And then it doesn't matter if I hit it like this or if I hit it like this, it's all gonna be like
it's the same. Yeah, so you take all the feel out of it, but there's no room for feel in metal. There's no room. That's the other thing too. It's a one gear.
Nah. Well, there's the Gojiras, the Mastodons, and like there's a lot of like the Pantera. Pantera, fucking for fuck's sake, even.
Okay, there are exceptions to the rule.
There's a lot and then our friends in Upon a Burning Body, very deathcore based, but groove. It's like, what? I put death metal, the most stiff fucking shit. Fucking death metal, and I put some fucking swag to that shit. That's kind of cool. And I think that, that's why I think, with exploring different things like that in the beginning, it's kind of hard. It's really hard to meld with that. And then when you have the music nerd in the band trying to explain, it's like, we should probably do. It's like, you need to just shut the fuck up so we can figure this out. Just like when you're like working on a complex, like, home improvement project, and it's not going exactly the way you want it to go.
You mean every home improvement project? Not just the ones that don't. No, all of them don't go right.
And then you got the one person that's not actually like doing anything on that particular thing, but they have everything to say about it.
Oh yeah, the fucking armchair quarterback.
Oh man. So that's what I mean. Like so that obviously I've had some run-ins, but no.
It's like, unless you're gonna get down here and just do it your fucking self.
Yeah, you want to do it. You want to do it yourself, there, Chief.
Yeah.
No. All right. Well, then shut the fuck up. All right. Well, I didn't. Oh, why you so gay? Why you get so angry? I wonder why. But yeah, that's kind of funky. But the reason why I bring that up is because I've been, like, writing more stuff for the project, which is, like, kind of weird, because it's like, oh, yeah, we already had songs.
Oh.
But then I was like, I want something new, too. You know what I mean?
You're
I was like,
always allowed to write new stuff. That's nothing that... You should be writing new stuff.
But we got so much shit, though, that needs to go out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like...
Yeah, well, there is that.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, it feels like a fucking bad episode of Hoarders. You know what I mean? But instead of, like, hoarding my house, I'm hoarding my hard drive. But finally, I think maybe my statement of frustration has gotten through. Because next week we put into overdrive more writings so that we can finish the pre-production stuff and be somewhat on schedule. Because we plan on getting an EP out this year. I want it out this year.
Don't put... It's going to come out when it comes out.
It will, but there's... Well, I already have one song completely done.
Our album actually got sent for mastering today.
Awesome.
Yeah. A couple weeks later than we wanted. We didn't get to promote it at Musikfest, but there's this place that I think it's probably going to be good in, I'd say, maybe 2-3 weeks. We're playing this place called Ed Rocks in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Did I ever tell you about it? The guy did the whole landscaping, turned his backyard into an amphitheater. Big statue of Jerry Garcia's hand, 10 feet tall. But anyway, CD release party, potentially. Album release.
That's a lot of potential for something that could be soon.
Yeah. See, this is what happens. I just said, don't give yourself, like, deadlines. Because you start telling people about these deadlines, and then stuff happens, and you don't meet those deadlines.
Well, yeah. The original deadline kind of got Derailed a little bit.
Well, yeah, that's what happens. Like, we got our final mix back, and there were things that were evident on the final mix that weren't as evident on previous mixes, and it's like, well, whoa, we can't send it out the door like this, you know?
Yeah. We had a situation like that with the Beneath the Dead Sky EP. So the original version that you can find, if you have a CD out there, is literally just what we did, live tracks, no mastering. So I mastered it, and I sent it out to all the members, and I said, hey, there's a good chance that I might release this. But before I release this, and this is a first, I am going to be using some of the old recordings that we had of a couple old Beneath the Dead Sky tracks that were recorded with another singer, but then when I came into the group, I was given kind of carte blanche to, write whatever I wanted. I didn't have to use their lyrics or anything, so I'm gonna rewrite the lyrics and stuff that I wrote to those songs.
Okay.
And I'm gonna add that, and then mix that up, and then hopefully have that out definitely this year, because I should be able to get that done, because the vocals and stuff are just I think it's just 2 or 3 tracks that we reused from their other band.
I don't have a problem reusing old songs. We totally did that on this last album, just because we wanted it done with this group of guys, Fine.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
But, when you got the... Because we just got the CDs and stuff, the full files back from their first EP that they sent me, so... And I was like, you wouldn't happen to have that without the vocals, would you? And he's like, I do.
Wow.
And I said,
that's cool.
Well, guess what?
Wow.
I'm going to re-record 1 or 2 of those. How about that? Huh. Especially Remember Me. That was one that, I wanted to... Because it was always, a big topic of conversation, because out of all the times that we performed it, I only performed my cue for the drop twice. Because I always was being extra about it. Because everybody, because in the song, right, it builds up. It's dun 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 dun, and then it's just ever since I put you in your grave, a piece of me inside died. Wherever you are, make me a place. Remember me. But when everybody would stop, right, it's just me being remember me? Yeah, but what I would do most of the time would be I want everybody screaming, give me remember me.
There you go.
And it's but then, and then everybody in the band was just you fucked that up. No, fuck you.
Crowd work,
yeah. He did, yeah.
Yeah,
but there was two...
Yeah, that's something that I remember feeling in bands. And you kind of have to remind yourself every once in a while, this is not Madison Square Garden. We're at a bar, or we're at a firehouse, or you know what I mean. Let's just have some fun. Let's just be loud. Let's be aggressive, and have a good time. You don't have to nitpick about your performances. That's one thing I learned. And no matter how good or bad of a band you are, you don't have to nitpick. Just go have fun. You know?
Yeah.
Because really, if you're not any good, you're going to have a really hard time getting gigs.
That's
the sign. That's how you're going to find out if you're not good or not.
Well, we played a gig like every weekend. You know, There was like every weekend was booked. Like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like we were out playing somewhere, doing something.
Good.
And I remember that. I just don't. I'm drawing a blank though on like when shit kind of like fizzled. Because I remember it getting super fucking hot, and we were, like, sending out press kits.
Mm-hmm. We did that.
And once we started sending out our press kits, I just remember it was like, yeah, we're going to be kicking Jeremy out now. I'm like, what?
Why?
Why?
Does she have another drummer?
No, we did not have another drummer lined up at the time. But then we got one. And I was like, damn, man, this is it's kind of shitty. That was kind of like the constant, though. Like, we had so many fucking people, like, try out and play. And it just never worked. And it's funny because like it got to the point that like I started learning the like drum parts to certain things because I heard it so many fucking times. It's like, no, actually, if you hear the riff, you kind of have to stick to this kind of rhythm. You can alternate, things, but accents fall here, and here's the pattern. You want me to do it for you real quick? I'll do that for you real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, drummers don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you're auditioning drummers, you kind of let the drummer do what's going to come naturally to them, because that's what's going to indicate to you if they're going to naturally gel with your vibe.
Yeah.
Like, if it's going to work for you, it's going to pull you in a new direction, and you're going to like it.
And that's what I was kind of always hoping was that I would get the person that just played their role in a sense, and I never had to like question it.
Oh yeah, reliability is major too.
Yeah, and I get it. I get what I'm saying is very subjective, and in music, it is always best to be objective.
No, not at all. Complete opposite.
Be as objective as possible.
Be as subjective. Like, music is... There's no right or wrong thing with music. You can put two half steps next to one another in the appropriate place and make it work. It's unusual, but it's not wrong. That's it.
You're done? It's okay.
Sorry.
I wrestled your feathers. But that way I triggered you with that false statement of mine. Like, you can't be... No, John, you can't fucking... No,
if
you can't...
have the mentality like, oh, it is this, and, like, you have to play it like this.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you have to go fuck yourself.
Yeah. I was trying to be like some of my elitist friends out there.
Yeah. No.
You have to play...
I mean, don't get me wrong. There are... When you play classical music, I mean, composed music, you have to play what's on the page, for sure.
Yeah, there's no...
But, writing music with a band, let the instrumentalist speak. And if the sound doesn't work, then maybe he's not the right guy for the band.
I like fucking with shit, though. Like, I purposely will for example, something simple that you would think, okay, give me something very like rah 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 rah.
Well, you're telling them what to play. But you just gave them a rhythm to play.
Yeah. So then it's like, but then it's like, But then it's immediately in my brain, I'm like, What I would do is go rah 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 rah, like go over the bar a little bit with certain things and kind of like just like have fun and just like fuck with the space. You can do that as the singer,
but that doesn't mean that anybody else has to follow you.
Correct, and I think that like with some people they get so hyper focused on other shit that is like no.
Well, it's a mix of both. Like if you want like sharp rests, very clear cut.
Rigid,
rigidity or whatever you want to call it. Then compose it that way, specifically. Otherwise, anybody else, at any other point, anyone else can do whatever they feel.
Yeah,
especially when writing the music. But if there is a certain part that has to be a certain way, make sure everyone knows it's this part that needs to be like that. Everything else, I really try to avoid telling other band members what to play. It's a cancer. It always leads to somebody being like, fuck you. If you can't do it yourself, don't tell me how to do it.
Yeah. And that's always that's like
and that's where the chemistry comes into play. Yeah. If it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. And if it does work, it fucking works. And you can't deny it. You might hate the guy. He might be a fucking asshole. But, like, shit, when you're on, that anger, he channels that through his drums. You channel that through your vocals or your guitar or whatever. And what comes out the other end is fucking awesome. Then he still might be the right guy for the band.
Yeah, man.
That's what bands are like. It's a relationship that's very complicated.
It
emotionally.
Well, it definitely is, for sure, because, when it, not that I got to speak about it completely, but, when it, like, about the cover band stuff,
Yeah.
I was like, hey, my original stuff is going to start picking up more, and I want to write more, so I'm not going to just keep coming every weekend and doing that. It started with that, and then the playlists and stuff started like changing to this like walk in the park stuff, like where it's like, all right, do you guys want me to just bring my guitar and sing too? Like, because like
cover bands. I mean, I liked your set list, but if you're going to be adding more stuff, there's really only a small handful of songs for you to pick from.
Yeah.
And most of them they're going to get cheesy. You probably pick the heaviest ones for your first set list.
Yeah.
There aren't a whole other, like, appease the masses.
Well, it's not that I was picking for heavy. I was picking more so for who's at the bar. You know what I mean? Like, what's the age group at the bar?
Well, that's the thing.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, so the stuff that I wanted to add in there, like, bar bands that, are bar bands now, like Korn. Korn is a bar band now.
I know.
All right?
Oh, you should play Blind.
Yeah, like, that would have been fucking, like, you start I don't
think your drummer could have kept up with that.
I think everybody would have. I would just been like, everybody, I want you to fucking say it. Are you ready? Yeah, exactly, man. That's fucking.
I may have moshed during if you guys played that song.
See,
that may have gotten me up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but like it was like things like that. Deftones. Deftones is like, which there was a conversation, I think it was Jacoby Shaddix of Papa Roach.
Okay.
He's the singer. Okay. He said the question was posed to him of who's the next Metallica. And he put his band in that group. And I was like, okay, I can see Papa Roach, selling out arenas, but not like football stadiums. But arenas, okay. Deftones is another one that he said. And then I forget the third one, though. There was a third one that he said.
So does the next Metallica already exist? Is
Yes,
what you're saying?
already
It's somebody
exists.
that's already on.
Already on the know and on the trajectory that it's like if you're gonna go see him, you're gonna be seeing him in an arena or a big venue.
Our friend Mr. Doc Coyle is currently opening up for Metallica, and
for the Ice. Well, he's playing with Ice 9.
Yeah,
Ice 9 Kills.
Yeah.
You ever heard of them?
No, actually.
They're like a.
But they're
a metal band that's like themed around like all the big horror stuff.
Okay.
So they're like horror junkies and shit.
Okay. So it's more like it's a gag.
It's a shtick.
It's a shtick. Okay. Okay. So Metallica's not taking out the next up and coming metal band. They're taking out like
the biggest shtick.
The biggest metal shtick band.
Metal shtick.
Okay.
They had Pantera on the one night.
Oh, that's cool.
For an opener, and then they had Five Finger Death Punch.
Steel Panther.
Steel Panther.
No, I'm just kidding.
That'd be fun.
I don't know.
She's got the eyes of a panther.
It's good. It's a good question though. Who's going to be the next band to wear the crown as far as longevity goes after Metallica finally fucking hangs it up, whenever that is?
Yeah, man.
Who's going to be the first to die? I think it's probably Lars.
We're not. No, I don't want to play that game. But what I want to do is think about. I think Kurt Hammett dies first.
It's gonna. Yeah, I shouldn't say the first to die because that's. There's been one, but
yeah, I know.
The first irreplaceable.
Rest in peace, Cliff.
The one that's gonna kill Metallica.
Yeah.
It's either gonna be James or Lars. I don't think they're gonna replace Kirk. Do you think they would though?
Yes.
I kind of think they would.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, as I was saying it, I was like, I can see Lars doing it.
You know who would come back?
Dave Mustaine.
If he was healthy enough.
They would do it. They would try it. They're on good terms now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would do it.
That's what I said. I said if he was healthy enough.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
say
all it would take.
If they were not like
that's all it would take.
Beefing.
But
I said if he was healthy
clearly,
enough.
if James dies, they're done. If Lars dies, do you think? I don't think they'd be.
There's so many drummers up in.
That's what I mean. I don't think. See, Lars is the hungry.
Everybody
one.
thought that after Taylor Hawkins, it was like, yo, dude, like, what the fuck are you gonna do?
Yeah, but Dave Grohl is the hungry one in the band.
Do you know?
In Metallica,
but
Lars is the hungry one in the band. He would have been. He's the one to. He'd be the one to say, "We're gonna continue playing."
Yeah, but who do you replace Taylor Hawkins with?
Well, I think I never heard of this. John,
yeah, you have.
The
Josh Freese, yes,
Josh
you have.
Freese.
Yes, you
by
have.
name, I didn't recognize his name.
But you know his work.
That's the thing. I learned that I actually know a lot of his work, but never knew the name. So it's like, well, of course, he's a perfect fit because
he's one of the best studio musicians.
Exactly, and of course, Dave Grohl knows him.
Yeah.
And of course, he's going to be able to get him with just a phone call. And so I also have a theory, though. Taylor Hawkins' son, Shane, still young, but I think if longevity plays a role in things, if Foo Fighters are around in 5 to 10 years still, I think Shane Hawkins might slip in as at least a temporary but semi-permanent drummer for Foo Fighters.
It would be nice and all, but I think he should just do his own thing. With
Wolfgang Van Halen.
Correct.
Wouldn't that be cool?
They've already jammed. So.
They have. I think Shane Hawkins needs to get a little older, and
let him grow up to be whatever he wants to be, man. Everybody's
he wants to be a drummer, though.
I know, but not to, because then if he jumps right into think about Jay Weinberg's kid.
Who's Jay Weinberg?
Jay Weinberg is Max Weinberg's kid.
Oh, Max Weinberg. Is he a drummer? Is he a drummer?
He filled in for a lot of different groups. And now, now,
Jason Bonham.
He is in one of the biggest, if not the biggest metal band. Fucking Slipknot. Even, like, you know, almost bigger than fucking Metallica.
Yeah.
Because they can do their own festival and it doesn't, you know, get shut down after a year.
I can't think of someone who's going to be able to wear the crown like Metallica. I do shit on Metallica a lot now, but I don't think there's anyone that's going to be able to match that.
It's kind of like Nickelback. When you shit on Nickelback and then you realize it's like, I guess you guys weren't that bad in comparisons to some of this other shit.
No, they're just cookie cutter.
Oh,
Way too cookie cutter.
But you know what's funny?
There's nothing organic about it.
You know what's funny? Around the holidays,
What?
I like those little cheap-ass fucking, like, little stupid, like, circle cutouts that you buy from the tube, and you just cut it off with a butter knife, and you cook it.
Yeah. If we're talking cookies, we're not talking cookies, though. We're talking art and creativity. Like, you can't
art in
fucking
that.
cookie cutter stamp art.
Yeah, you can. It's called epoxy. Epoxy art. You ever see these people with these squeegee arts and stuff like that?
You can't do it to music.
Yeah, I was kidding. You're like, I see where you're going, and I grasp your concept.
And then call it original? Like, come on.
Fuck out of here. Yeah, that's just a paint smear.
Anyway.
I'm gonna become an artist, and like only when I'm older though. And I'm gonna shit my pants, and I'm gonna smear my ass on the canvas, and then call it mid-afternoon sharts.
I bet you wouldn't be the first person to do that. That has to have been done before. Like, to spray diarrhea on a canvas and like call it art, just sign it.
And the one speck of corn sticks there.
It's beautiful.
Oh, it screams aggression.
Mixed with burning sexual desire.
You can tell by the splatter.
There was pain here.
There was a lot of vigor.
Oh my god.
And not a lot of fiber. No. Oh, shit. Oh, man. But, it is interesting how much, this show still has lasted. I'm in the process of fixing all of the episodes. Now, depending on where you listen to the podcast, some of the episodes, they don't go out in order somehow. I don't get that. Like, even though, like, I issue it out, and then, like, but on Spotify, you're missing a few episodes, so you know what? Go over to Podbean, you know, or go to iTunes and get the missing episodes. But, yeah, Spotify, you know, deleted, like, a few episodes, and I think that's where my numbers got mixed up, because every single episode was off about 1 or 2. So I had to go through and fix 238 episodes of Devil's Den Radio.
Wow. Voluntarily? I would have just left it. Fuck it.
I want continuity.
Fair enough.
And so that remember when I was like, you know, man, there's no way in hell that we're off the numbers like that. And I was like, I'm just going to keep these numbers going. And I'm glad I did. You know why?
Why?
Because I was right.
Okay.
The numbers were right. The numbers were right. So, yeah. But 238 episodes?
That's a lot.
It's a lot of time.
It's a lot of episodes.
It's a lot of Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
But I also wanted to bring back another idea. So a little bit of homework for both of us. We need to do a revisit to classic albums, right? But let's do the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
And let's dissect the 90s a little bit more. Because now that, we'll go up to 1999. But you know what's even sillier?
What?
We can now go all the way up to 2005. Because 20 years later. In a couple years. So we get to stop at 2003.
Okay. I'm not interested in anything that really happened after 99, to be honest with you.
You didn't have anything that was in your, because I'm thinking about it in that time.
That's honestly when I started going
I
backwards. That's when I started going backwards and discovering music that already existed that I just hadn't discovered.
I found
Fish around 2001.
I did both. I did the exploration backwards and forward, which was kind of like Wonka Vader-ish.
Mm-hmm.
But it was cool. You know what I mean? I had had a computer and shit, so I had a LimeWire. There was WinMX or Winamp, I think it was.
Oh yeah, Winamp.
I've had so many different things. Frostbite.
Which was the one that played the trippy shit on your computer screen? Remember that one? Was it Windows Media Player? You do the full screen and it had the
visualizer.
The visualizer. Yeah, that was trippy as shit because it reacted to the music.
Correct.
That was the best fucking part about it. I was like, oh my god, this is the best technology ever.
Yeah, man. But it's about that time.
Okay.
Hippie Soul sends her best to everybody out there.
Hope she feels better.
She says, "Fuck Pop-Tarts."
Yeah, man. I'm should throw that out. I'm confused. How could a Pop-Tart go bad with all the fucking preservatives that are in those things?
But we just had a conversation before the show, though. Pop-Tarts are not the same.
They're not the same. They're not the same they used to be. No way.
Mm-mm.
Nope. And
there's no way that there's fruit in here.
No, and they don't even announce it. They make no thing of it. They just force it down our throats. But, not for nothing, but we're stupid enough to keep buying it and eating it.
Yeah, there's no fruit in here that I can see. Corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup.
Oh, jeez.
Dextrose, soybean, and palm oil. Sugar and bleached wheat flour.
There's 8 different kinds of sugar in that.
Yep. And enriched flour with B1.
Vitamin B1?
Vitamin B1.
Interesting.
And B2.
Oh.
So you get your riboflavin.
They're not messing around.
And you get some folic acid.
Gotta have that folic acid.
Got to when you're eating your Pop-Tarts.
And they just crumble now, too. They don't even stay, I don't know. And toaster strudels are smaller than they used to be. So disappointed. What's this world coming to?
The simulation has changed for the worse.
Mm-hmm. I feel it. Alright, let's get the hell out of here.
Alright, stay metal.
Be metal. But recycle.
But recycle. Peace, bye.